Good morning, guys, or good evening, or good night, whatever time you're watching this video, I guess. Hope you're having a good day, night, evening, morning, yeah, whatever. Today I'm going to be looking at my bike to try to figure out why my headlight situation wouldn't work. I've done got my tank off, seat off. I've got the wiring harness for the headlight. I've tested this with my NASA spacecraft shuttle launch meter. This makes continuity, it's good. So something either in here or here, which I kind of can't, it's hard to see right there, is not working correct. Ooh, way up close. So what I'm going to do now is I've got to unbolt one of these screws right here and put this right here in it, and then you kind of can't really tell, but that's yellow and that's red. This one is red and this one is yellow. So we want to wire this up, and then we're gonna see if it works. I do not know for sure whether it will or not. I'm pretty sure right here is where the lights and stuff actually are supposed to be wired up from here. So I'm gonna pause the video, get that hooked up, and I'll get back with you. Okay, guys, so got it wired up here. Goes up, clamped to there, zip tied to right there. I took a voltage reading of it, and I don't know exactly what, but it's like it reads a constant partial, but whenever I click it, it doesn't like open completely, so I don't know if that's this thing or if I'm wiring it wrong. It's been a while since I've done any sort of like major wiring. I don't really want to take anything apart because, or like the wiring loose, because last time I did, there's like very, very similar wires, and it gets kind of confusing. Sometimes you cross wires that look very similar, and that's what happened to me last time. I put a wire in that was very similar to another wire, and it wouldn't start, and it frustrated me. It made me nervous. I didn't know like whether I had done something. It was whenever I had took the bike apart and painted it. It used to be green, the frame used to be green. And I took it down to the motor. I had only the motor on because there was the bolt that goes through the swing arm, and from the swing arm through the motor. And if you know anything about aluminum and steel, they don't like each other, and whenever they sit for a while, they start to react with each other, and they don't rust, they corrode. They make like a scaly rust weld almost, and I didn't want to break my case, snap my case, trying to beat the snot out of that thing and get it off. So I just covered my engine with paper towels and painted, which made it to where the paint job didn't turn out to be very, very good around the bottom of the frame. But for aesthetics and just gooning around on the bike, it was sufficient enough at the time. I may down the line try again and try some other methods as to get that bolt out, and might do a much better paint job on the bike. But beside the point, I don't want to do much disassembling of wires because of that. And it's kind of confusing because you can unhook one wire or unhook two wires and then mess them up again. There's a bunch of like scenarios, I guess you could say, that would make it not want to run right, so I don't want to do that. I guess if I kind of have to, I will, but right now I'm taking the stator cover off to kind of get an idea which wire goes to which side, because there's a group of wires that comes outside of the stator cover, but no, they're kind of in a harness, so you can't really see much. So I'm gonna take this cover off. It's just like 5 or 6 bolts, bolts, and of course, like almost every other bolt on this, other than what I've put on, it's an 8. If you actually watch this video and you're kind of like part of the notification squad, drop a comment and tell me what's your preferred. If you like standard sizes like 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/8 inch, 7/16, 9/16, or if you're more of a metric 8, 9, 13, like 2.5, 3.5, stuff like that. I don't know. I think that in terms of like learning, where I have grew up knowing the inch, it's just like it's easier for me to know like 9/16. That's a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch. 7/16, smaller than a 1/2 inch. And then whenever you get into like metric crap, you've got like an 8, and you're like, well, what the crap size is an 8 millimeter? Which a 13 is a 1/2 inch, so you know that like a 13 would be a 1/2 inch, a 14 would be like a 9/16, and then like a 12 would be like a 7/16. But whenever you're like 7, 8, it's pretty confusing. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to take that off. There's a it's pretty much it's my flywheel right here. I don't know if I'm going to be taking that loose. Honestly, like, I knew that it had one, but it just skipped my mind. And I think you kind of have to have a puller for those. So, my bad. I guess. How did water get in there? Well, I guess I'm just gonna throw it back together and so change of plans. I guess I'll just get on YouTube and try to find some more like test videos. I might kick the bike over and see if I'm getting any sort of power. I wanted to take the stator or get to the stator simply because the stator has two sides, and I've seen a stator for my bike because I had originally fooled with my light trying to get it to work, and after investigating and researching and just general knowledge, I decided that maybe the stator end or the headlight end of the stator was not firing or was not charging, but that could be due to also a faulty wire or the stator, and then but it's also like it's pretty much from the stator to the light, because your switch is part of that circuit. So you check your light, see if it works, or check your light, make sure it's not blown. If it's not blown, go back to the switch, because that's the next thing in the loop. Run a continuity test on your switch. That's usually the next easiest thing. Just hook up, just find where your switch connects into the wiring harness, unhook it. You can buy some of the cheapest ohm meters, and I mean they'll at least tell you if you're getting electricity through. This one is my dad's, for like he got it from like coal mining and stuff. He's an electrician, so it's a, like, I wouldn't say like super fancy, but it's a pretty high dollar ohm meter. It'll almost read your heartbeat and tell your future. But you don't have to have nothing near this fancy. Just one of those simple little like 15 or 20 buck ones at like Harbor Freight, or just little plastic ones. Sometimes they have little digital monitors on them. Sometimes they don't. This one doesn't have a digital monitor. It's just the graph and pin, and it's got the little charts behind it to tell you what you're measuring. If you're measuring this, then it's your range. But yeah, just a simple volt ohm meter will work just perfectly fine. I mean, you don't need nothing fancy, like I said. Simple will do the trick. But yeah, all I was going to do was see which wires come off which side, kind of trying to figure out which side runs my lights, or if they both do. If they both do, then I know then it's in the wiring, because my bike runs. And if both run the lights, then both would have to, or both run at the same time, then they would have to work, because one would have to run my spark plug coil, and my bike runs. So, you know, it's pretty much a process of elimination. You don't really want to make it super stupid confusing right off the bat. Electrical stuff, like electricianing stuff, it does have a very good chance of just exploding into something very extremely stupidly complicated. That's just like part of the territory. You get into some very complicated, stupid stuff. But does it have to be? No. I mean, a lot of times things like that are decently simple. Some people are told, if they think, like, say you go to a shop because bike won't start or car won't start. Especially for older people and women. Shop looks at you and thinks, they don't have a clue what they're doing, what they're talking about. So they'll pretty much hit you with some gibberish as to what's wrong. And you're so confused that you just pretty much have to trust what they say. And as bad as and I've been in the field of like mechanical and automotive industry. I know there are some sharks out there that, like even in the auto detailing and anything, that if somebody thinks that you don't know what you're talking about, they're just gonna money you in and take you for every penny they can get. Which some people call that business. I call it fraud. You should not be taken advantage of simply because you do not know exactly what is going on. But it happens every day, thousands and thousands and thousands of times a day. And that's just the world we live in now. It could all change. We could all wake up tomorrow and, not have no more lying, stealing. But there's too many people that make money off of that. Steal from person A, sell to person B, and then, you know, if person B isn't lucky, find out that stolen. And like I say, if I would have bought this bike and wanted to register it, to get insurance on it, it did not have a title, but I knew the person that I got it off of. He's a good buddy. I trusted him. I still trust him. I know that he did not steal this motorcycle. But if a motorcycle is stolen and you go to get it registered or go to get a title for it, and it comes up stolen, they will come and repossess the vehicle, whether it's dirt bike, scooter, four-wheeler, truck, whatever, and you're out whatever you paid for it. So I know this has kind of turned into just like a chat blog, which, you know, I'll go ahead and call that that'll be the title of the video. Electrical work and BIKESIDE chat. That's going to be the name of it. But yeah, I got the switch mounted up. Whether I need to fool with any of these wires right here, I don't know. I don't really want to, but it's not like impossible to get it running again. I've done it 2 or 3 times. It's just not fun to do whenever you go to kick your bike over and it's not sparking or whatever. It's a bad, scary kind of deal. So you don't really want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. But if I have to, I'll try it. I saw a sale on eBay or Amazon for a light bar, like an 8 or 10 inch light bar for like $20, and I know that it's not going to be the best light bar, but if it'll work, and you know, it claims to be like 1,500 or 15,000 lumens or something like that, and I know that that's a lot of light, and it wouldn't have to be near that much to suit me, just for getting down the holler or something close. But if I can get this to work, I'll mount it on my handlebars or my clamps, somewhere, my triples maybe, I don't know for sure. But I'd like to get a little light bar to mount to my bike somewhere. I think it would make it look kind of cool. It wouldn't take a whole lot away from the motocross look of it, but it would add a lot of functionality to it, because like right now it wouldn't be that bad to ride, and I honestly might go for a little ride after I throw all this on, just to make sure that the bike and everything's solid. But once it starts to get dark, if I'm at somebody's house, I pretty much either have to stay there or have somebody come and get me. But if I had a light on my bike, then that would be so much quicker. I could just hop on and go. So that's what my plan is. That's what I'm trying to get figured out. If you like this long kind of chat video, I might do like a YouTube live. I don't really know. I might go live, I might not. A lot of people from Off-Road Amino have subbed, so thank you guys. I guess that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'm kind of sorry it ended up being so long. It's almost 25 minutes. But I hope you guys can enjoy the longer videos and maybe do like an interactive live thing. I can show you some of my projects. I've got off-road stuff, fishing stuff, hunting stuff. This thing is actually currently being worked on. Well, I got done with it this morning. Now we're just trying to get oil up into the injectors and make sure that it's running good. It's a 7.3 liter, and we think it blew a injector sleeve. There was a bunch of diesel fuel in the antifreeze overflow. So he replaced all 8 of them. So I might update you on that sometime. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.